Ernst Boehm had been serving as a solo contrabassist for the West German Radio Orchestra in Cologne for 7 years when he received instructions to stay away from the radio building until further notice. The order claimed that the injunction was just temporary, but Boehm would never play with the orchestra again. On June 29, 1933, the Reich Broadcasting Association sent the West German Radio a list of non-Aryan and politically unreliable employees who were to be fired in keeping with Hitler's law for the restoration of the professional civil service, which called for the removal of Jews from all public positions. Boehm's name was at the top of that list. He was officially dismissed exactly 1 month later. In 1936, Boehm and a number of other Jewish musicians and their family members were rescued from Nazi persecution by Jewish violinist Bronisław Huberman when he founded what is now the world-famous Israel Philharmonic Orchestra. Huberman envisioned a world-class orchestra composed exclusively of Jewish musicians. Such an ensemble, he maintained, would be the greatest weapon against the Nazis who were claiming that Jews were incapable of great art. Since Huberman refused to set foot in Nazi Germany for any reason, he put conductor Hans Wilhelm Steinberg in charge of selecting German musicians for the orchestra. One of the musicians Steinberg recruited was trombonist Heinrich Schiefer. Born and raised in Berlin, Schiefer had made a living in his hometown by playing in coffee houses, in silent movie theaters, and in the German Film Orchestra before being dismissed from all of his positions in 1933. By March 1936, the increasing discrimination had convinced him to leave Germany for good. Steinberg accepted Schiefer into the orchestra, but the trombonist already had 2 other job offers on the table. One was from a former colleague from Berlin who was starting a jazz band in Argentina. The other was from a symphony orchestra in the Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic. 2 of Schiefer's colleagues from Berlin joined the jazz band in South America, but Schiefer opted to join Huberman's orchestra. He was convinced by Steinberg's urgings, as well as by the prospect of later bringing his parents to Palestine. Enough with the jazz and communists, his father advised him. Stick with the Jews. Although Huberman was not able to attract every musician he wanted to join his orchestra, the performing backgrounds of those he was able to recruit were remarkable. Of the 70 musicians who are listed in the orchestra's first program, 52 had once been members of leading orchestras, such as the Budapest Philharmonic, Leipzig Gewandhaus Orchestra, Vienna Concert Orchestra, and Warsaw Philharmonic. Of those 52, an impressive 30 had held leadership positions in their orchestras. Huberman was creating not just an orchestra of exiles, but an orchestra of all-stars. Huberman was also doing much more than just building a world-class orchestra. He was saving lives. The first performance of the Palestine Orchestra took place in the evening of December 26, 1936. The hall was packed with 2,500 audience members, including British and Jewish luminaries from throughout Palestine. Several hundred music lovers stood in the drizzling rain outside of the auditorium, pressing themselves against the wall and even climbing onto the roof to hear the concert. They had come to witness the birth of their orchestra. Ever since its first concert, the orchestra has continued to be the crown jewel of Israeli culture by giving exceptional performances for subscription holders and workers alike in Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem, as well as in various settlements throughout the country. The orchestra quickly became the pride and joy of the Jewish community in Palestine. When the State of Israel declared its independence in 1948, the orchestra was there to perform Hatikva, the Hope, the 19th century Zionist hymn that had become Israel's national anthem. Today, the orchestra that is now known as the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra is widely recognized as one of the very best orchestras in the world, just as Huberman intended it to be. But the ensemble's greatest legacy can be found in the lives it saved during the Holocaust. By helping the musicians, as well as their family members, immigrate to Palestine, Huberman saved an estimated 1,000 lives between 1935 and 1939.